There was a time when friendship smelled like freshly baked lemon pie and sounded like the gentle hum of a radio in the corner. It was the 1950s, an era when women didn't just survive the day, they celebrated it. Every week, across America, housewives opened their doors to something special, the afternoon socials. These weren't ordinary get-togethers. They were lifelines of laughter, gossip, and grace, wrapped in gingham and pearls. Imagine the gentle rustle of an apron as Mrs. Thompson set her best china on a lace-trimmed tablecloth. The neighborhood ladies arrived one by one, carrying casseroles, fresh flowers, or simply the warmth of their presence. There was no social media, no endless scrolling, just the pure joy of connection. Those forgotten gatherings built friendships that outlasted fashions, fads, and even the decades themselves. Back then, being a housewife meant more than daily chores. It meant creating a little universe where beauty, care, and companionship were constants. Women found identity and pride in their gatherings, afternoon teas, recipe swaps, and sewing circles that stitched hearts as tightly as they stitched fabric. The world outside might have been rushing into modernity, but inside these homes, time seemed to slow down. And perhaps that's what we've lost today, the art of slowing down, of cherishing simple rituals. Those socials weren't just events, they were quiet revolutions of love, loyalty, and laughter. Each cup of coffee poured was a gesture of trust. Each shared recipe, a passing down of legacy. If you're someone who feels that ache for nostalgia, who loves the scent of vanilla in a warm kitchen and the hum of a vinyl record in the background, then you're exactly where you should be. This is the world of trad wife secrets and vintage housewife hacks, of nostalgic 1950s life reborn for those who crave that gentle, golden rhythm of yesterday. Before we step deeper into these forgotten gatherings, let me say, this channel is your time capsule. Each video is crafted to bring back that feeling of comfort, connection, and calm. From the sparkle of a freshly polished dining table to the laughter echoing through a cozy living room, we're rebuilding that lost magic together. If you adore the vibe of 1950s America, the charm, the warmth, the grace, check our playlist in the description called Life in 1950s America. It's filled with stories that take you back to those simpler times where every day held a reason to smile. Now, before we continue, here is a little invitation. Hit subscribe and join our nostalgic family. Every click helps us keep this world of vintage memories alive, the world where homemaking was an art and friendship was sacred. Because after all, the heart of every 1950s home was not its decor or recipes. It was the people, the women who showed up for each other, one teacup at a time. When you think of the 1950s, you might picture pastel kitchens, soft music, and women in crisp dresses. But beyond that image lay a secret society of kindness, gatherings that carried more meaning than they ever realized. Housewives found purpose not just in tending to homes, but in tending to hearts. Their socials were therapy sessions before therapy existed, where worries dissolved into laughter and life felt just a little lighter. Many of these meetings had traditions of their own. There was always that one neighbor who baked the best pound cake, the one who arrived late but never missed a moment, and the one who quietly remembered everyone's birthdays. Those were unwritten rules, the gentle etiquette of the era. It wasn't about perfection, though it often looked like it. It was about care. The little details, folded napkins, embroidered doilies, a sprig of mint in iced tea, were gestures of love. Housewives knew that presentation was not vanity, it was respect. Every detail whispered, "You matter." That's what made those gatherings so special. They weren't forced or rushed or forgotten after the day ended. They lingered, in memory, in the scent of lavender soap, in the faint hum of laughter that still seems to echo through the walls of old houses. And today, as we scroll through endless feeds and fleeting trends, maybe the truest rebellion is remembering them. The forgotten gatherings, the socials that built communities, lifted spirits, and made ordinary days feel extraordinary. Because sometimes nostalgia is not just a feeling, it's a guide, a reminder of what we once valued: connection, compassion, and the beauty of slowing down. So as we journey into these 1950s housewife socials, let's rediscover the power of those moments, where every cup of tea came with a story, every laugh carried warmth, and every gathering became a gentle celebration of life. Stay with me. In part 2, we will step right into those living rooms, peek at the customs, games, and delicious rituals that made 1950s gatherings sparkle with charm. Have you ever wondered what it felt like to walk into one of those 1950s housewife socials? Not just seen in faded photos or described in passing, but truly felt. Imagine this: the soft click of heels on polished linoleum, the faint scent of freshly percolated coffee mingling with cinnamon buns just pulled from the oven. The air was alive, not with noise, but with something more sacred: belonging. It always began before anyone arrived. Hours earlier, a housewife somewhere in America would be setting the stage, ironing her best tablecloth, polishing her silverware until it gleamed like tiny mirrors. The kitchen would hum with quiet excitement. She wasn't preparing for guests, she was preparing for a moment, a ritual, a celebration of ordinary life disguised as an afternoon gathering. And when the first knock sounded, that familiar rhythm on the wooden door, the magic began. One by one, the women entered, each carrying a piece of themselves in a covered dish or a glass jar. One brought her famous lemon squares, another her grandmother's apple jelly, and another just a smile that everyone needed that week. They didn't call it therapy, but it was. A table of women who truly saw each other, and in seeing each other, remembered who they were. Conversation flowed like music. It wasn't rushed. It wasn't small talk. It was full of stories. Some whispered, some shared boldly. They talked about children's mischief, new recipes, and sometimes about dreams they never said aloud to anyone else. And always there was laughter, the kind that shakes the shoulders, that wipes away a week's worth of worry in a single burst of joy. No one checked clocks. No one scrolled through a phone. They lived entirely in that slice of afternoon, that golden, unrepeatable now. Sometimes the socials had little rituals. One woman would bring a stack of glossy magazines, and together they'd cut out recipes or dress patterns, passing scissors and laughter around like confetti. Others had tea-tasting afternoons, where everyone brought a small tin from home: Earl Grey, chamomile, peppermint, and the ladies would vote on their favorite. The winner earned the honor of hosting next week's get-together. But beyond the recipes and teacups, something else was quietly at work. In those gatherings, women built a kind of unspoken sisterhood. They celebrated each other's joys, shielded each other's sorrows, and held space for one another in a way that seems rare now. When one woman's husband lost his job, the others quietly dropped off casseroles without a word. When another had a baby, the whole neighborhood rotated shifts to help out. Their socials weren't about luxury, they were about love. And is not that what makes nostalgia so powerful? It's not the objects, not the aprons or radios, it's the spirit behind them, the heartbeat of an era when community mattered more than convenience. Every gathering had a rhythm: the sound of coffee cups touching saucers, the murmur of polite conversation growing into full laughter, the needle dropping on a vinyl record somewhere in the background. There was always one moment, that perfect pause when everyone sighed at the same time, a sigh that said, "This is peace. This is enough." Even the smallest gestures held weight. A housewife would glance around the table, proud of the harmony she had created. The lace curtains fluttered as a breeze drifted in, carrying the scent of lilacs from the garden. Somewhere, a child's laughter echoed outside, and for just a second, time stood perfectly still, as if the universe itself was honoring these women and their quiet grace. But what made these gatherings truly unforgettable was not just what they did, it was what they meant. They were acts of resistance against loneliness. In a world where women were expected to hold everything together, These socials allowed them to simply be. No perfection, no pressure, just presence. It's almost poetic, isn't it? That something so simple could hold so much meaning. That the same table where they served cake was also where they shared secrets, where one woman comforted another, and where friendship became a lifeline. Today, we chase digital likes and fleeting approval, yet somewhere deep inside, we crave exactly what they had: authenticity, the comfort of being seen without filters, the beauty of belonging without conditions. If you close your eyes for a moment, you can almost hear it: the chatter, the music, the soft rustle of dresses, the chime of laughter blending with the clink of porcelain. It's as if those echoes are still trapped in time, waiting to be remembered. Those women didn't realize they were creating history. They thought they were just hosting tea. But what they built was a culture, one of warmth, grace, and quiet resilience. The kind of gatherings that did not just fill afternoons, they filled hearts. And maybe that's the most beautiful secret of all. The 1950s Housewives socials weren't just about homemaking, they were about home being, the art of existing with grace, with intention, with love. Each gathering was a tapestry of souls, woven together by shared stories, gentle humor, and the promise that no woman had to face life alone. That's what made it unforgettable. That's why, even now, 70 years later, we still long for it.
Close your eyes for a moment. Can you hear it? That faint hum of an old record spinning somewhere in a cozy living room. The gentle chatter of women who knew the value of every shared minute. It's almost like time left behind tiny fingerprints, soft echoes of laughter, faint traces of vanilla and rosewater. Memories waiting for someone like you to remember them again. We often think of the 1950s as an age of simplicity, but really, it was an age of depth. Every handshake meant trust. Every visit meant care. And every gathering meant more than a party. It meant a bond, woven tighter with each passing story and smile. But as the years passed, something began to fade. The world grew faster, louder, more distracted. The tables that once held homemade pies were replaced with screens. The laughter that once filled rooms was replaced with notifications. And those sacred afternoons, those warm, golden housewife socials, slowly became whispers in history. Yet, what's remarkable is that their spirit never truly disappeared. It's still alive in every woman who chooses kindness over competition, grace over glamour, simplicity over chaos. The 1950s housewife may belong to another time, but her heart, her way, is timeless. And maybe that's why you're here right now, because something inside you longs for that rhythm again. The rhythm of connection, of slowing down, of savoring life the way our grandmothers once did, with intention, with beauty, and with heart. When those women gathered, they didn't know they were preserving something extraordinary. But they were. A culture of warmth, a language of care, a way of living that turned everyday moments into something sacred. And maybe, just maybe, we can bring that back. You see, nostalgia isn't just about remembering the past, it's about reviving its best parts. The love, the laughter, the sincerity, the way women uplifted each other instead of comparing themselves. The way homes were built not just with bricks, but with memories. And that's what we're doing here, together, rebuilding that world one story at a time. If you have enjoyed stepping into these forgotten gatherings, you'll love what's waiting on our channel. We have countless videos exploring more of this golden era, from tradwife secrets to vintage housewife hacks, from nostalgic 1950s life to retro glow-up traditions. Each one is crafted to transport you back to that simpler, softer world, the one we all secretly wish we could visit again. Think of this channel as your time machine, your cozy corner of the internet where the past still breathes, And every story reminds you that life's most beautiful things were never loud or complicated, just deeply human.
Because the truth is, those 1950s gatherings were not really about the recipes or the decorations. They were about people, about community, about a quiet kind of joy that can't be bought or downloaded. It can only be shared. And as you sit here, remembering that world with me, I hope you realize something. You are part of that same legacy now. Every view, every comment, every smile you share keeps that warmth alive. So if this journey touched your heart, if it made you feel something real in a world that's always rushing, then please, take just one small moment to show it. Give this video a like. It may seem like nothing, but to us, it means everything. Your one click tells us that nostalgia still matters, that warmth still has a place in the digital age. Truly, your one like can change our life. And if you know someone, a mother, a grandmother, a friend who would smile remembering these 1950s gatherings, share this video with them. Because sometimes, the smallest memories become the most meaningful gifts. Who knows, maybe this story will spark a conversation, a phone call, or even a new gathering, one where people look each other in the eye and laugh again, just like they did back then. So thank you for being here, for remembering, and for keeping the glow of nostalgia alive. Together, we're not just watching history, we're reviving it. Until next time, keep your heart gentle, your memories golden, and your spirit timeless, just like the women who taught us how.